Talk too mucking fudge. Talk too mucking fudge. Talk too mucking fudge. Talk too. You know that we talk too mucking fudge. Talk too mucking fudge. Talk too mucking fudge. Talk too. You know that we talk too mucking fudge. Talk too mucking fudge. Talk too mucking fudge. Talk too. You know that we talk. Talk too mucking fudge. Talk too mucking fudge. Talk too mucking fudge. Talk too. You know that we talk too mucking fudge. Talk too mucking fudge. Talk too mucking fudge. Talk too. You know that we talk too mucking fudge. Talk too mucking fudge. Talk too mucking fudge. Talk too. You know that we talk.
Yes, back again. 4th show for the year. Technically 5th. We done like a little secret one with King Mo.
Coming out soon.
Yeah, and I'm here now with my boy Tim Sheaf, man.
What's good,
Hey,
Michael?
man. What you saying?
Hey, good to be here. Thanks for inviting me, man. A real honor to be invited by MVP, man.
The invite's usually to the cage show.
I haven't seen you fight yet, man.
I know.
Next London one.
It's coming, yeah, it's coming soon. I'm going to be fighting. So let me just get all the shout outs out of the way. At Talk TMF, follow us on Twitter. Myself, at Michael Page 247. At Colossus911 on Twitter as well. At Real Sport, we're here in the studio, Real Sport 101. And Tim, shout. Wait, what are you?
V-Gang. The V-Gang.
Brother, how can I forget, man? V-Gang.
V-Gang.
Yeah, the whole. He's got the T on as well. Rep. Where's your T?
That's under my hoodie, man.
Man. Yeah, so he's there. Instagram. Is it the same thing on Instagram?
At Ethics Nantics. At Human Timothy, man. Check me out at Human Timothy.
Yeah, he's still doing all your jumps and stuff.
Adventure, free running.
Yeah, everything.
Everything. Bro. That involves movement.
Yeah.
Up until the fighting. That's I've done. I'm the flight side of it. You're the fight side of it.
I hear that. You need to get that yin and yang going.
Yeah,
right?
crossover, man. You've been to my world, bro. You got it. Very natural.
So at Michael Venum Page on Instagram, at Hardgraph 39 innit?
39,
And again at Real Sport 101. As we're here again, there's just one thing I wanted to kind of bring up first. There's a couple of I just want to give them a massive shout out because there's 2 jiu-jitsu kids. They're amazing anyway. I call them the Simba kids because I struggle to say their names.
Asimba.
Reese and Jaden, like these 2 young boys, they're 15 and 11.
15 and 11, yeah.
They're gonna run a marathon for a young girl.
At that age.
Age,
Is that legal at 11 years old?
Yeah, but it's done over 3 days.
Yeah, they're doing it over 3 days. Yeah,
it's done over 3 days. But supposedly it came from them. They saw something that Marv posted about a good friend of his niece, Taya. What is it she got again? She got like some.
Basically, it's like a lacking. It's a rare disease, so it's like she's lacking chromosomes, which means she can't walk.
Yeah, struggling. She has to get fed through a tube and stuff.
Fed through a tube.
Yeah.
She has epilepsy. So she's lacking a few senses, but it's one of those weird ones. When I explain that to you, and when you see her, it's like 2 different things because she's always smiling.
Which she should be, man.
She's had a character. I think she's about 11, she must be about 11 or 12 now. Yeah. But she's got a lot of character to her as well at the same time. But when you break that down and you say, okay, what's the what's wrong, then it sounds a lot worse than when you actually see her. And I think that's just due to how the family are with her.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yes,
So for these guys to do what they're doing,
For the charity for her or for?
Yeah, well,
It's for her, yeah.
It's for the tricycle.
They're trying to raise 1,500, I think, for this one. Trying to get a tricycle.
Maintenance of the tricycle.
Warranty, but it's just to see kids seeing that, you know what I mean, at that age, and wanting to give back, I think it's massive.
They've got their heads screwed. I mean, me and Mike have seen them and met them at competitions. Very respectful. Yeah. Smiling. Reese is the older one. He's more. He's a bit more serious, but he's focused. But it's really good to see a young kid like that at that age as well.
Is that jiu-jitsu? Is that the
yeah,
discipline?
Yeah, jiu-jitsu. Yeah. But
Keeps them like...
No, you know what? It's still down to the individual, man.
Yes.
Like anything. Like anything, boy.
I talk with their dad a lot, and their dad is like, you know, he's an entrepreneur. He's very family orientated, family first. And, you know, you get this energy from him. He's one of these guys, very outspoken, says what he feels, but he's also very respectful at the same time. But he speaks his mind. And this is what I like about. He doesn't care what people think about him. I think he used to be like a drum and bass DJ back in the day.
Okay.
I can't remember what his DJ name was. So he's been there, he's done it, he's been on the scene, and he's come of age. And his growth is reflected in how his children are.
That awareness, that self-awareness you get from being on a stage.
Yeah,
But it's good. It's good for, you know. It shows in your children, if you can raise your children that way, and to see that and know that's a lot. I wouldn't want to run a marathon now. I'm not. I think I have to run a lot for training and stuff. I know you've done. Well, you're in that, man. You
got addicted,
you got addicted to the running. The thing is, you're the kind of person that would just want to put obstacles in the way as well. So you're gonna run a marathon, but you want to climb a mountain as well. Then you want to do this. You want mad, and all respect to that. But to see that kind of thing at that age, for me is massive. So I want to just.
I can't imagine wanting to run a marathon at 11
Yeah,
years
that's
old.
what I mean.
It's
That's what I mean. It's insane. Even at 15, it's like it's insane. So massive respect to them, the family, everyone for doing that. And also just obviously it's been blasted all over the news. RIP to anybody that's kind of that died today during the attack
in Westminster.
in Westminster. And anybody injured, obviously I wish you back well, wish you well. Fast recovery. But
it's a product of London, but it's a product of Parliament and everything. Bro.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a big chain in that. Isn't there?
That's just the world we're in at the moment, man. It's a bit crazy. So I want to talk to you anyway. What are you doing at the moment? Because like I said, I know you're into a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Talk to me, man. What are you doing?
Yeah, man. I've been on a journey, bro.
Yeah.
I've been on healing, man. I've had my platform, my stage, like with free running, you know, winning the World Free Run Championships.
Yeah, that's amazing.
2009, 2011. I felt that, man, but it didn't feel the same reward. Like I just never really took to it. I wasn't like I should be proud of it, but I'm not like, oh, this is me.
How long did you do it for?
I did it for
beforehand.
Like 10 years. Oh, till then, like 6-7 years. Yeah, 5-6 years, and that was one of the first ones. But for me, I've damaged my body, bro. I think we all have, and I see it in all athletes. Every athlete has issues, man. Has some ailment, shoulder, ankle, something that they put on the back burner because they've got a competition coming up, because they want to train, because they're so hard-headed. And I've been that guy. And I got into running. I got addicted. Within 6 months, I ran London Marathon in 3 hours. 2 months later, I ran a 100-kilometer race from London to Brighton. Within a year of running, I was doing that, and I damaged my body doing that. And I've learned now, subsequently, I had lack of mobility from all the parkour trainers, and I loved it, and I have no regrets at all. But now's the stage. I'm doing it early. I'm getting on it young now. I have no responsibility to be a professional athlete. I can focus on the healing, and this is what I want to bring to the world. But this is the next, and people are already doing it. You've got people like Kelly Starrett, who from Supple Leopard, he wrote, and then you've got Ido Portal, and it's about mobility. And if you have a healthy body, then it's fully mobile. And I think mobility is the new muscle. You know, that's what people do.
What kind of work are you doing specifically now? In terms of the healing, like
it's a full mixed bag. So it's looking into things. We talked about water before.
I was going to say I want to get into that again, because in all honesty, I know we had a good chat about it as well. Came down to the gym.
Nutrition is 50%. That's a starting point, but it's not the end. You know, I'm not going to come here and say vegan's the only way to go. This is when you're vegan, you're healthy. Like there's so many other factors, and it is the water. There's other plant medicines as well. You can get into that. There's so many different things. Stretching, and it's not just, you can't just stretch and try and touch your toes and that's stretching. It's about engaging the muscle before you stretch it. It's about vibrating through the muscle. It's about slapping your muscle. There's like so many different ways to stretch and to warm muscles up and to activate them. It's not just.
Are you learning from anybody? Obviously, you're always going to be learning. But I'm saying, are you specifically going to anybody at the moment that is kind of giving you extra information, or are you just kind of bouncing around from different person to person? Who are you speaking to at the moment that's kind of giving you this information?
To be honest, lately it's been a bit more of the plant medicine. mushrooms more specifically. I'm not going to come in and talk about tripping out and everything, because it's not about that, but it is about these plants are there and they can they can access a different physical reality on them, and you can become aware of things that you're not aware of. When in this normal brain that we go around the world and walk around and train and focus, and we have to remember, I've got to put the washing out, I've got to do these things. That mind is great for the current world, day to day, but there's other things that these plants can trigger you for healing your own body, to be aware of, I didn't realize that was so tight. I need to, and it can help you find the stretch. Whereas if you're sat at home, you just go, right, I'm going to stretch this and I'm going to stretch that, and then you can't relax that mind, and you're so focused of other things you should be doing. It can help free the mind, and through freeing the mind, you free the body, man. It's so connected.
I'm going to say that's been a thing throughout time, though, not just in what you're talking about in the fitness thing, with regards to medicines, mushrooms, all this kind of thing about expanding the mind. Artists, musicians, doctors, scientists. You've got a big list of people that have gone that route through the centuries. Just it's not a new thing.
It ain't.
This is an age-old thing.
Yeah. But we're scared to talk about it. Like,
of course, people are.
They think they associate with drug. Here's the difference. And I include marijuana. You can eat marijuana raw, and you can have the most incredible yoga. And Joe Rogan talks about it. I heard saw an interview the other day. Yeah. He gets it, and the yogis get it. You can eat it raw. You can eat mushrooms raw. You need to do nothing to them. Whereas you look at other things that actually are drugs, cocaine and LSD.
They add loads of chemicals.
You need to change them, or you need to burn stuff to do it. These come out the ground. You can eat them as they are. The way I compare it is like acid or LSD is like Haribo, and then mushrooms or weed is like eating grapes. Because it's just the way it came. And the antidote is with it. If there's anything that could take you a certain place, it can bring you back. Whereas with the other stuff that's man-made, this Haribo mess. You give that to a 5-year-old, you see how it messes. I
think the problem is, especially in this day and age, is with regards to the effects that these things have, and it's not because it's not the norm. People don't know how to respond to those things, and everybody responds differently. If I took something, i.e. a mushroom, how I would respond and what I would see would be possibly different from what you would see. Now the difference is when I come into that stage or that go through this episode, what is in the back of my mind, and this is where things can start to go wrong for some people. If you haven't got the right people around you, what can go wrong is depending where depends where your mind is.
The thing with that is though, and you might have what people will call a bad trip, but in actual essence, that might be you just having to go that route, and then the next day you might feel incredible because you've burnt up that fire. When we have these, we're in a normal everyday mind and we have these bad thoughts, negative thoughts. It's like a fire, and every bad thought you throw in it keeps it lit, and you just keep throwing these thoughts. Whereas if you do something like that, you might have a million thoughts at once, and it burns it out, and then the next day you're a bit drained, but you're like,
you feel kind of free of it.
You're relieved from it. So even what people would deem, I'm scared of a bad trip, that might be what you need in that moment, and that might be a way to burn up, because some people are depressed, and that might burn through it, and the next day they're like,
Well, it might expose what you're actually depressed to, because if you've ever spoken to anyone who's depressed, and you'll be surprised that there's a lot of people going through depression. And I know they say, oh, well, you're not really depressed and blah, blah, blah. But right now with, these computers and whatever.
People talking about it the other day. Like Tyson Fury.
Stormzy was talking about it as well. Now, the thing is, what you're saying, because the thing is, I've never done mushrooms before. And this is one of my worries, why I've never done anything like that.
Absolutely.
Just simply because I'm always worried what's at the back of my mind.
Closet, man.
Yeah. what's gonna come out? And can I face it or not? So that's always been mine. I'll be honest about that. But what you've just said, this is what brought that to mind. Is sometimes maybe that dark thing, if you're going through a rough time, needs to be brought out so you know what it is. If you speak to anyone who's depressed, I'm not saying everybody's going to give you the same answer, but if you've spoken to someone who's going through depression and you say, well, what is causing you the depression? They couldn't really tell you. They can't pinpoint a thing. You can say, okay, I had an argument with my friend or my mate or whatever. We keep having an argument, but that's not always the cause.
It's the background frequency that they're stuck in. And stuck in a rut. And sometimes to alter your mind, you need a mind-altering substance. You know what I mean? You need just that flip of a switch. And if you've tried everything, but you've not tried this mind-altering thing, it's there. Well, it grows naturally.
We do get it though, don't you? Like you said, we're getting the alcohol that's been touched and all these other drugs that's been touched. You're getting a slight effect of a mind-altering drug, but it's slightly, what's the word? Inhibited.
It's a number.
It's inhibited. The actual drug itself is being coated with something. So because it's been coated, you're getting a part of it, and maybe you're not getting the full part of it. In saying that, I think when you go back in time as well, I think maybe because there's not such a great understanding. When you look at some of the great artists and stuff, guys like Van Gogh and all these guys who were doing certain things, you still get that. You can still get that same effect. Like you can get this. You can get people taking these drugs and nothing ever happens to them.
Plants.
Sorry.
I like to differentiate. I think people need to differentiate.
Do you know what? It's perfect you say that, and it's perfect that I say that, because it's the language, and that's the biggest key, isn't it?
Regardless of what anybody calls it, if I take this stuff, I get in trouble, bro.
Maybe not for you.
I get fined. I get this.
There's a time though. I had bad knees lately, and it's cartilage this and all these intrinsic things. It's circulation. It's from lack of mobility, and that was highlighted to me through the plants. It's circulation, and when I stretch and got the right stretches I needed to do and release, and the lacrosse ball and all that stuff, it feels incredible.
Well, my physio in the gym, Paul Jarman, he does back to basic therapy.
Mr. Magic Hands,
man. But he says a lot about the Chinese medicines and Chinese practices and what they encourage versus like the modern day kind of thing, and it's exactly the same thing. It's certain things that so many people want to get cut straight away, surgery, and he's looking at some of these guys and what they do and what they have brought people back from, and it is a lot to do with how you're, just where your body can go to, is you kind of preventing your body from going that little bit further to allow the healing to be a lot easier on your body for whatever it is. But he's saying that every time he researches stuff, he's like, these guys have been doing this for ages.
Our ancestors have the knowledge. Our ancestors have it, but there's no money in in these simple methods.
Of course.
You hit the key point as to why it has now been. And I've always wondered this. Like you're saying, you get a plant, and this is with our food as well. You get a plant, you take it from the ground. I would assume that's minimum cost. You take a plant, you add this to it, you add that to it, you add this to it, you add that to it. For me, why does that not cost more? Do you know what I mean? In the sense of when you're talking in logic, that's free, or that's one product that you need. You take it from the ground. That should be less labor, less products.
Than the process thing in the packet on the thing.
So and then you've got something that you've taken, you've done this to it, which involves.
But at the same time, we nowadays pay for convenience, innit?
Of course.
And that tends to be a lot of what people capitalize on, because you can say the same thing about water. You can just find many sources of water yourself. And they put it in a bottle and we'd go to the shop and buy it.
That's what some of the people need to realize, is not all water is the same. They can buy Evian, Volvic, Highland Spring, whatever, and it will all look the same. Someone could bottle seawater and it will look the same. But it ain't the same on the inside. And people start to become aware, they look at the pH of it, and that's the first step. But beyond that, they need to look at, there's parts per million, and it will say dry residue at 180 degrees. And they started to put this on the packaging, which is great, because now you can see how many parts per million, the level of dry residue. And this is what you want, is the most minimum number. When you drink water, you want to drink pure water as possible, unless you have access to your own spring. But if they're packaging it, putting it in the bottom, putting it on the shelf, you do not know what's in it.
Of course.
What would be your recommendation on that as well? Because I'm interested in
You're telling me about the machine that you bought.
So I have a distiller. It costs £100 on Amazon. It's super simple. The name may sound complicated, but essentially it's a kettle, and it catches the steam and turns the steam back to water, and you drink the steam. So then it leaves all this residue, all the stuff that's left at the bottom. It's all your the nasty stuff, the fluoride, the chlorine, and all that gets left in the thing. And it's basically costs £100, and then you can drink the steam water basically. And it's a beautiful thing. If you don't want to do that route and you're going to go supermarket, buy Evian. Don't buy Evian. Buy Volvic.
That's the one. To be fair, that's one you said you.
This is really weird.
But was that conscious, or did you like the pack?
No. Do you know what's really weird that you say that?
Subliminally, you felt
because
it.
I drink Volvic. I mainly drink Volvic, and there's been a time when you go into a shop and they only got Evian. And I've got the Evian. And what I've said to people is, I don't like the taste of Evian. And what I've said is, I'm not sure if it's a psychological thing, or is it just a case of the plastic.
There's
in
more
the
dry
bottle.
residue in it. There's like 3 times more dry residue.
And I feel more satisfied when I drink a Volvic. I feel I can have a bottle of Volvic by my bed at night, wake up, feel like I need to drink some water, and it just does the trick. Whereas Evian doesn't. But this is why I asked you the question, because I didn't really know. I haven't really looked into it that much. As far as I'm concerned, I don't like to drink
You
tap
don't
water. I
need
don't
to.
like tap
Yeah,
water.
tap water's the
Yeah,
worst.
I don't
man.
like it.
Yeah,
People
well, everyone
smart,
says
yeah.
that.
Smart water
Everyone
and tap water and Nestle. If you're gonna avoid, don't drink smart water. That is a con, man. They
Mate,
call
yeah.
it smart water to get you on it.
I tried it one time,
It's
and
like
I was
Coca-Cola.
I didn't finish the bottle.
Yeah, good.
Because it was it felt like
It's
my throat kept
I see
getting
it
drier.
everywhere right now as well.
Yeah.
You see it
What's
absolutely
smart?
everywhere.
Coca-Cola own it, man, and they're just one of the biggest companies in the world.
Yeah.
But when I checked that, did tests on it with JME, we did some on YouTube. That one came up the worst. It was some funky stuff going off in that water.
Wow.
So avoid smart or cost. Nestle again. The owner of the CEO of Nestle said water should have a market value. It's not a human right because it's it said it's food stuff. It should have a price, and so don't support a guy that says that.
Fair enough.
And again, get Volvic if you're going to get tap water, or just get a distiller. £100 on Amazon. I bought 4 for friends and family at Christmas, and they're all loving it. My sister's lost 4 stones on it. There's like loads of.
I was going to say, because you
were
were telling me about the effects in terms, like what has it done for you? Because I know you explained it to me, but just let everyone know once you change
drinking the right water.
Yeah, what has drinking the correct water done for you, your body? What is it?
It's phenomenal. We don't realize that we get all these inorganic minerals stuck in our body, in our joints, in our eyes, wherever we use the body the most. Where the blood's flowing, if you're running, it'd be in your knees. If you're sitting down in the office all day, it might have a bad lower back. From all the food, the water that we're drinking with these inorganic minerals, they get clogged up in the muscles and the joints, and the body can't remove them in enough time. But what distilled water or pure water does is because water has a great capacity to dissolve solids. When you get water that's just steam, it's completely pure, it's got nothing dissolved in it, it can then dissolve solids. So when you drink, and I was up to 4.5 litres a day, a gallon a day, feeling incredible because it dissolves, it runs around your body in the bloodstream, goes to these areas, dissolves the deposed minerals that shouldn't be there. It leaves people think distilled water, it strips minerals from the body. And that's the end sentence. Oh, you should avoid distilled water. It strips minerals your body doesn't want. It leaves everything that should be there because it carries a negative. It's the reason it's called distilled. It's not still. It carries a negative charge. Everything in your body that should be there also carries a negative charge. Everything that shouldn't be there, metals, rocks, salts, salts stay there. It carries a positive charge, and it actively seeks it, attracts to it, magnetically sticks to it. It takes it to your liver, and you excrete it out, and you might have a few days of like shitting, but it feels good. It's cleansing.
Exactly. It's a cleanse, so you're getting
it is. So I had all those effects and just felt incredible. It cleared out all my joints.
I know you lost quite a bit of weight as well.
Yeah,
what was you? Did you actually weigh yourself before and then drop it after, or did you just like, right, I've lost weight?
Yeah, it was like kind of 8 kilos or something like that, you know, and my sister's lost 4 stone. Like, she's been at Weight Watchers for like about 3-4 years. I got her a distiller at Christmas and she lost 4 stone from that moment to now.
Dead for Weight Watchers, everybody.
How long have you been drinking it? What was the
probably on it for like a year now. How long have we been on it?
Because I remember when we met last time, and I was saying that I'd seen him quite a few years ago in South Bank at the big Barclays thing. And at first I didn't recognize him because he was about my build. And I was amazed because obviously I'm like, seeing someone my build doing those things, I was like, wow, this guy. And then when Michael introduced me, I was like, I've heard that name before. And I was then I was asking, I was like, did you do this thing and this time, blah, 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 blah.
Was it the Red Bull thing?
Barclays
was the first one and then Red Bull was the second one.
Okay.
And so it was
that was going vegan.
But this is what's really good, because you've gone from you were this guy of these abilities. So if anyone watches any of your videos, they're gonna be like, wow, this guy's amazing, look at the stuff he's doing. And then for you're like, I don't feel 100%. You've gone vegan, and you've gone like, okay, that's my next stage. You know, you've got all these realizations from what's happening. You're getting all these aches and pains because you're aging at the same time. And now you're saying, okay, this water is making me feel better, which is good because it's progress.
That's underlying the diet. Though when I went vegan and high raw vegan, it works because it's mostly water. It's the same thing. We need just hydration before we need anything else. And most of us are just dehydrated.
What training are you doing at the moment then? I know, like, what you was before. Wait, do you still do? Have you? You know, you started jiu-jitsu for a bit as well.
I was just rolling a bit. I've not.
Yeah, but you didn't get into it.
No,
not. You said you was
properly.
going to do a bit more.
I definitely want to. I just got a lot of stuff at the moment, but I'm loving the martial art. I do want to get into kickboxing. I think something like that. I think that's great for mobility as well. Is that that repetition? But at the moment, I'm focused on rock climbing and bouldering, man. I have learned so much about mobility and posture just from that, because it's all about balance. It's all about getting the maximum out of the minimum, and that's what I've been enjoying the most lately. Still the running, bit of swimming, but it's just there's learning. Like I feel like if I felt this way, every athlete feels this way.
Yeah.
And these are just athletes. What about humans that aren't athletes, that don't have to do stuff physical with their body? Everyone needs healing. Like we need to get some of these little ways out, because these are simple little tricks. Everyone drinks water and they know I should drink more water. Okay, make sure it's the right water. Like how can we give this information to people? Because if I'm suffering, I know everyone else is. You know what I mean?
I'm still suffering. Like exactly what you say. You're so focused on the next fight, the next bout, being in shape and blah blah blah. We do a lot of hard stuff, and you're just pounding your body, and you forget to do the soft side. Yeah, you forget to stretch your body out.
God bless Michael Bisping, bro. He looks like he's
he's going through it, innit?
Yeah, man.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, but
Just a little bit.
GSP might be all right. You know, he's had time off to recover.
yeah, well,
He has.
Well, he's a very intelligent fighter.
It's still a bigger guy though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a lot
It's
bigger.
a naturally
And
bigger guy.
once the
That's always
adrenaline's
gonna be-
going, like
it's
resort
still
to-
dangerous.
Yeah.
Getting hit by someone that's naturally heavier than you. But it's funny because when he went into the cage the other day, there was a bit of video. He's bouncing around doing
Like points.
doing the points thing.
Who?
The point
GSP.
GSP's been training that.
So he's doing all the stuff that where I come from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the people are like, oh yeah, he's doing this like hands down style. I'm like, you guys are late, man.
But you know
Come on.
what was good is though that if you look at GSP's career, he's always evolved.
He always tries stuff. He's always doing stuff.
evolved. And what it's showing people is this is the next level in MMA. Yeah, in combat sports. Yeah, people they've been outwitted by the jiu-jitsus, by the Gracies, who brought that in. And not to say jiu-jitsu is still in there, because once it gets to the ground, you know, but what people are now doing, people are learning anti-jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
A lot of the wrestlers are learning how to just kind of position themselves where you can't.
You go and you study the art. The difference is with the points now, with the point style, it's a lot about reaction that has been built up over a period of time, timing and distance. So a normal Muay Thai guy, a normal karate guy,
Very difficult for them to get.
Yeah, when you go into a points, even for someone who's from traditional karate that doesn't move the same way, it might be a bit easier to get. But it's still difficult because you have to build that reaction time.
Like the Machidas.
A period
Even the Gunnar Nelson, his style, long, bouncy.
Yeah.
He catches people, and then obviously he's amazing on the floor as well. But his first shots that gets him in is always a long distance shot.
Single
He's always
shots.
bouncing his arms.
So what
down.
about Woodley Thompson? Woodley handled that the best way possible, right? He couldn't have done anything differently.
See, this is where a lot of people
thought.
obviously criticizing the fight, but
He
they're
couldn't have done
not.
a single thing different.
As much as it's combat, it's still tactical. You have to be smart in order to win a fight. And he outright said it. I want to keep this belt. Yeah. I had to be smart. The style's very complicated style to be. You can't rush in on that. And as you say, he played it very smart.
In a year's time, when you go on Sherdog or Wikipedia, it says win next to his name and he got the belt.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
all people
There you
care
go.
about. Like, they won't forget the
go.
fight.
What's he thinking about? He's thinking, I got a family to feed.
He's so smart.
I've got a
he's
family
really
to feed, and I know that these guys are not paying me what they should be paying me. Yeah, they shouldn't, because for UFC they pay the top exciting fighters, the John Jones Bones, the Conor McGregors. These are the guys that get the money because they attract. Woodley doesn't have that. To be fair, he doesn't have that because he knocks people out. When he hits you, you stay hit.
And Thompson felt that.
Yeah, but people
Twice.
don't. People don't want to fight him because he can do that. So someone with Thompson's style who can avoid getting those hits more often than everybody else does.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
He's going to use his best tool, which is that style. And if someone then decides this is my best tool to not get knocked out by you, to not get taken down by you, what?
But
Am I going to be an idiot?
Where do you see Woodley going next?
Or anyone else? I think is a good fight.
I love him as a champion. I think Thompson versus Gunnar would be a good fight. I think he has to fight Maya, right? He has to fight.
Who?
See, this is the thing.
Thompson versus Nelson would be sick.
This is the thing. If I don't believe anybody really wants to give Maya an opportunity to go for the title, because
they don't want him as champion as a
I don't think he's not an attractive champion.
Masvidal, bro. Masvidal's exciting.
Yeah, of course. But he takes people down. When people fall down with Maya, they tend to not get back up. That's usually
His
over.
game is so on
it's
point.
ridiculous.
So on point.
It's ridiculous, and then people don't really want to see that.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. I'm not. If I was marketing for these guys, I know about marketing, but if I was marketing for these guys based on my feelings, it'd be terrible because I want to see.
You want to see those fights.
The reason why I want to see
entertainment now, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's not about technicality.
That's why I say the rankings don't mean anything.
Well, they don't.
Can I ask you? Have you experienced racism in MMA the way Woodley talks about it? I can see what he's saying.
Okay, I get what he's saying in the sense that I think he's one of the worst treated champions in MMA, but I don't necessarily think it is racism.
We just said that it's entertainment now, and that WME, I think they wanted Wonderboy as
100%
as a champion.
100%
more.
Here's what I think: everyone in America can relate to Thompson.
Yeah.
Everyone can relate to a female champion because everyone knows women, but not everyone in America has black friends.
Yeah.
So therefore, there's a smaller market audience for a black champion, and that's the fact, and that's why he probably is experiencing it.
Yeah.
And I imagine he gets tweets from Thompson's fans and all them all day, and he speaks
Yeah,
out on
fair
it, and people give him shit, and I feel sorry for the guy because he's.
But I was saying that's just the position that you're in.
Yeah.
I've been getting it from the second I've come into the game. The style's unorthodox. What I do is it real? Is it fake? It's put on. You're not fighting on the good. Like no matter how many times I fight, no matter what I do, I'm gonna constantly get it. But I feel you tend to learn that that's the kind of light you're in.
Yeah.
I feel in his position, there's no point playing up to it. You just make yourself look worse. There's other ways to do it. I think there's other ways to do it behind closed doors. But then at certain things that you if you need to express in a specific way, not just blurt back things.
Do you know why? Do you know why I'm going to disagree with that? Because what you need to understand, because what Tim's saying is, he's seen it is right from a marketing point of view, which kind of opens it a little bit more, which means it's not necessarily racism.
Exactly.
It's I need to make money, which is what you're saying.
Yeah.
But when you say he shouldn't, you can't tell a person who grows up in a place where they've constantly had abuse how they should deal with the situation, because
I think he's looking at it wrong.
No. He's not looking at it wrong. He's looking at it from his point of view. He's looking at it from what he's had to deal with, which we don't get to see. We only get to hear him talking on it. Now, I'm a person who you know what? I understand racism. I understand where you're coming from. I understand where you're coming from. But I'm going to deal with it my way. Don't tell me how to deal with someone who's being racist, who I think is being racist. Because I might spot someone being racist, and I might say, you racist, you this, da, 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 da. I might deal with it differently. But that's my way of dealing with it, because I've dealt with it like Woodley before, and I've just grown to a certain thing. But I'm not going through that same thing that Woodley is. So we might evolve at different times. When he gets up there, he might actually know that it's probably not fully racism. But what he wants to do, he's in a position where he can highlight it, where he's now going to make people uncomfortable, and it's going to make things better for other athletes. Because people are now going to be under pressure to say, well, boy, I'm going to have to pay this guy Conor McGregor money, because I'm paying Conor McGregor money because of this. Which
for me, there's no way they're going to change their mind on how they're doing things, because they don't care about people's opinions. It's the way, and the only way it's going to change in terms of finance and stuff is if there is a fighters union and that does get big enough to actually demand certain things. And that's the only way I see it really, anybody really getting paid the money that they want to get paid in terms of across the board and not just selective people.
But why do you think that?
Because it makes them money. They don't have to.
With what you said, you don't think.
Did you see the interview on Dana White when he was actually saying he feels boxers are getting paid too much and this is why people don't do this, and I think basically saying that people should get paid less to keep them motivated to fight.
I can hear that.
Yes, but do you know what we are putting ourselves through?
Yeah, exactly.
And you know how many MMA fighters, mainly over here. Well, it's not even mainly over here. How many MMA fighters that I know that are still working? While they're training to then go do.
And if someone pulls out the fight, they don't get paid.
So
they need guarantees like that.
You know what I mean?
So in saying that, you see what you've just said there. Now imagine you're looking at it from that point of view, where now I'm pushing to get sponsorships, but I just say, well, boy, this guy, no one's ever done it before. No, you're saying in your right mind, you understand how marketing works and how business works. No one in their right mind is going to give us that thing. The guy who pushes, i.e. Conor McGregor, everyone's saying, this guy's got to defend his belt. He hasn't defended. Why is Conor McGregor getting away with this? Because he just doesn't give a fuck. Yeah, he doesn't care. So what he's saying is, everybone's moaning about it. Everyone else would be forced to defend that belt. Or,
it's still based on marketing.
Exactly, but what he's saying is, why did it have to be Conor McGregor? Everyone else who has tried it has failed to do what Conor McGregor's done, Conor? Black or white.
Conor follows his excitement and not any fucking thing else. He follows his own excitement.
Exactly.
No one's excited to defend the belt. Everyone's excited for the next challenge.
Yeah, he believes
sticks
in it.
to that, and that's the key.
Yeah.
Everyone else is like, oh, I should probably do this. I owe this person that. Yeah. He's like, I owe no one
exactly.
nothing.
And that is the difference. This is why I say with Woodley, I understand, and sometimes I don't feel what you're thinking. I think, oh, you're pushing it a little bit much. Why did you say that? That to me, that wasn't racist. But then I always have to go in the back of my head and say, I'm looking at it through my eyes. I'm not looking at it through his eyes. I don't know what's happened in the back. I don't know what's...
and the people that hit him up say, thank you for speaking out. There's people, that's what he's saying. People are hitting him up saying, thank you for speaking out. Someone needs to do it in your position. Someone with a belt needs to speak out.
The US struggle is different from the UK struggle. Especially when it comes to race.
No, of course.
Over here, it's a bit different. We can deal with it a bit better. We still see
industry needs to get a bit bigger, man.
Of course it does.
Yeah,
of course it does. Of course it does.
Across the board.
But I think with Woodley, and I respect him because he's not afraid to stand out and he's not afraid of the backlash, which he gets a lot of. And for me personally, I think when you're someone who's teaching kids, everyone looks at Conor McGregor in that light of, okay, he's making you you say what you like, say what you mean. Don't worry about his swearing so much, because at the end of the day, he's an older person. He can express himself in that way. For me, the way Woodley is, people say it's boring. But you know what? To quite a lot of Americans, African Americans and white Americans, you got to remember there's a big white American following African Americans as well, supporting them because they actually understand the struggle that is going on over there. They're the ones whose eyes are open, that see those things that Tim has mentioned, that he's talking about, and they see it in a balanced way. Yeah. For him, they're heroes. He's a hero to them.
I rate him for it, man.
Yeah, definitely.
If you're gonna put yourself in a limelight like that, then you kind of have to respect. Yeah. If you're gonna just say it, then
he's risking it. Like you're saying.
Well, if Wonderboy was champion, he would just be yes sir, no. Yeah, like you'd just be jumping.
But that's what they like as well. That's another thing that they like. But let me just give a shout out to Jimmy as well, Manoworth.
Jimmy Man.
For that knockout the other day, that left hook,
off knockout.
You watched it on live on Saturday, man.
That left hook was nasty.
Proving himself now, man.
Yeah. But the thing is, he's always got... Jimmy's from from before he even joined MMA, that guy had bombs in his hands and he was putting people out. So I
like seeing Gustafsson in his corner as well. That was
it's good. They've been training together quite a bit.
And the other guy, Latifi, is it?
Latifi, yeah.
So them three, I imagine them lot.
Did he as well?
Sledgehammer.
Latifi's a bad man. And that's a good team to be like
to train him for Cormier and Rumble and John Jones. They've got a nice little unit.
I would love to see Jimmy get that, because I think he's actually got more technical as well.
Yeah, no, he has. He didn't get to see much.
He didn't get to see much, but if you look at that, was it the OSP fight where he started to go for body shots, and then he started to go and
him versus Jones would be snotty, man.
Well, this is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Ready for that.
I want to see that.
I was like, I hope he gets that fight.
I think he deserves it. I think he deserves it. UK, was it light heavy? I think Jimmy has proven himself. I think he's one of the best. I think he's actually one of the smartest in the way that he went for the UFC. Because remember,
he turned it down. Was it twice? No,
I'm not sure how many times, but I remember when you came on the scene.
Well, he got offered.
Yeah,
literally on my first fight, they were talking about him getting an offer that he turned down, and I think it was the offer afterwards.
Who does that in MMA? Turns down the UFC. Do you know what I mean? There's got to be a reason why you do that.
I think someone was saying that he said he didn't feel like he was ready yet.
Poster boy.
But which is smart. That's knowing yourself. It's knowing your ability. So many people just jump at a chance.
Yeah, he didn't.
And the panic is that I'm never going to get that opportunity again. But he's like, man,
I think he's grown a lot. I think what you said about him facing Jones would be really good, on the basis that Jones can always go to his wrestling. And it'd be very nice to see Jimmy adapt himself to that, because I know he's been working on his takedown defense, but John Jones taking you down is something.
The way of course.
I'm saying if you're working, even just you got to work off your back as well a lot. You got to expect that to happen at least a couple of times during the fight. It would just be a good fight. I think it would be
Cormier Rumble 2. Who wins? Cormier dealt with him the first time.
Yeah, he did. To be
Choked him
fair,
out with it.
Do you think? I don't.
no,
think,
no. Like,
I think it might be
Rumble
Rumble's time
starts
there. It might be
fast.
Rumble's time there,
Rumble
yeah.
starts fast, and I think he's dangerous for anybody. Because even in that first one, I think he caught Cormier early.
Once, and he's the only guy that survived.
Yeah.
Because of his neck. Yeah.
But that's what I mean. He starts fast, and it's just difficult for him to see that through 5 rounds.
Yeah.
That's why I was always put my money on Cormier. But boy,
That's what I would say. That's what I would say. I think you touched on it with, if I don't know if Rumble can really put him in that much trouble, and I don't think Rumble is that diverse. I don't think Cormier is that diverse, but I think he's probably the better fighter.
I just can't believe he was in welterweight.
overall. Who?
Rumble used to be a welterweight.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
What other fights we got coming up that you're excited for? Bader Phil Davis, is that happening? Or is that?
Oh yeah. So obviously, Brian Bader's just got signed to Bellator now as well. So I'm sure they're
That could
going to
be
be
a good
looking.
fight.
Every time they sign someone from UFC, they end up getting a title shot.
Yeah.
I kind of think it's a bit degrading. You're basically saying that you are the second place show.
Yeah, that's what you're telling me.
In my opinion, I don't think you should do that. They should still give them a couple of fights, especially if they're a good name. Don't get me wrong; they are going to be a good name. You can kind of say because he's ranked on a world ranking, he's still going to be very high.
Yeah.
If not top 5, probably.
Yeah.
Probably is, man.
Yeah, so I get it, but still, give him an A fight. Well, the same thing that they're doing with Rory McDonald and Paul Daly, giving him a fight first.
That's true. Him of all people should have.
I think that's more. I think that's more respectful. I think as a champion, you would understand that rather than straight away being given someone
Depends on your age,
got
though, I
top
guess.
level experience.
Bader's got a few fights.
But you say it depends on your age. But what you got to remember is you get this guy coming over. You're putting all your eggs on him, bringing your show up to the world. What if he gets beat? And now
it's still a good thing.
Then it makes Bellator look better.
Bellator look better, but what you got to understand is when you're marketing. Okay, fair enough. I've just beaten Rory McDonald. Yeah, Rory McDonald now has been okay. You know
you've
what?
wasted
Yeah,
that shot.
yeah. So he's gone now. You've just got this guy. Who else is he gonna fight that's gonna make him look
and
good?
Rory's still
'Cause
a bigger name.
You know what? If it doesn't matter how good you are as a champ, what's everyone gonna say? What are the guys you are attracting to your show and trying to attract to your show are the people that pay money and just want to see people fight.
You need one build-up fight where they entertain.
They don't.
I was going to say that hasn't been confirmed yet, has it?
It probably hasn't.
It's probably just talk at the moment.
Yeah, I'm just.
Bader one.
Yeah, Bader, Phil Davis.
What else
just
we got going on? What other good fights are coming up?
Obviously, the London show. You talking
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
You got a fight on that?
Yeah, I'm fighting. A guy called Derek Anderson. He's just coming up, actually, weird enough, because he's actually massive for lightweight.
Yeah, he does look
to be
big.
fair. But saying that, I remember talking about going down to lightweight at one point.
So he's coming up in weight.
But he's come up,
okay.
but he's like 6'2", 6'1",
Yeah.
6'2".
I remember watching your cyber fight, just to go on a tangent, but I was in Snowdon on my own. I just ran a race up Snowdon. I was in a tent. I had my laptop. I was
hardcore.
I was
fan. Sign a t-shirt for
I was tethering from my phone to my laptop, and I was streaming it, and I was having a good time in my tent. And then I went on Twitter, and Bellator tweeted your knockout before the stream had happened, didn't they? And I was, oh man, I would have been so excited for that. but then I was able to hype
all
it.
that effort.
I was able to tweet like, oh, everyone go check out Channel 5 now.
Yeah.
You know, but it was a sick little moment for me. Just on my, that was I was playing Pokemon as well. You know? You just brought everything together for me.
Did they have any Pokemon on Snowden?
Yeah.
What?
I didn't check on the summit though. I'm sure there's a Charizard.
Right, let me ask a question. Are you still playing that?
No.
Right. No. The reason I say that is because every time I go to my barber was into it as well. But saying that, he kind of started a bit late, but every time I go there, he's like, "Blood, they just added this," and I'm like, "I don't play it, man." Like, why are you still?
Pokemon's
dead. Nah, but they're still. Like, listen, they added this and they got this. And I got
135 out of 150, bro. I was
you was going in.
I was going in. I got a speeding ticket trying to catch fucking dodge duos and everything.
That is the madness of it, though.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't play those games, but like,
and I didn't care. Do you know what? I didn't care.
Yeah, no,
But
one
that's the
did.
thing, mate. I bumped into JME in Holland Park.
Yeah.
And I swear to you, so I got
Bulbasaur.
like the Bulbasaur Park. Yeah, Bulbasaur Park.
I
So
went there.
we got there about 7 o'clock. Yeah. Then the parking
Ranger
I came out, he's driving up and he's like, guys, you got to leave the park. He's like, you got to leave the park. He's like, no. We're like, no, we're staying in. He's like, oh, but I got to lock the gate. He's like, bro, we climb out. It's fine. It's not a problem. He's just like, okay. He went 1 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
Like, it's pitch black and all you can see is torches everywhere.
Trying to get your Venusaur.
Yeah, trying to get...
Were you with the YouTubers as well? The side
Yes,
man,
yeah. Simon, they were filming and stuff, and it was fun. It was quite fun. But that's for me. That was more exciting for me is actually the sociable aspect of it. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like people, I used to go out and end up making about 7 or 8 random friends that you would never, especially in London. People are always walking past. No one really pays attention to each other. And people were just naturally interacting. Certain times I had to kind of stand back and just watch people just in the park, just chatting, laughing, joking.
Great, yeah.
It was actually a very happy moment in London. Yeah. Like just one game and what it can do. But it was like
powerful. As quickly as it came, it went there.
Yeah, of course.
I actually enjoyed watching people do it. Seriously, like it's not for me. I've never, even as a kid, wasn't really into all of those kind of games. It just wasn't for me. But I was that guy who could come to a mate's house and watch him play computer all day, and he'd be like, "You want to go?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm shit at that." Like, you just keep playing. I enjoy watching.
That's cool, man.
I got the most. I don't care what anybody says. I got the most exclusive Pokemon.
What?
Cyborg.
I got the most exclusive Pokemon, so I was after that I didn't need to.
Mad respect, bro. Mad, that is no fucks given, man. Big up yourself, man.
I was gonna say,
I heard your story on Ariel Hawani about it.
Yeah.
Shout out, man.
What did you guys think of the AAA fight, Arlen Allen against McQuarrie?
I wanted to say, actually, he impressed me. He moves so fucking fast. Sorry, can I swear on this? Yeah. He moves so fast. He was really impressive, and I think UFC wanted the other guy to win, really, didn't they? But
I think he's been given a tough fight after a tough fight after a tough fight, and he's just come through every time.
Impressive.
But I remember his first fight in Cage Rage, and he was fighting Nathan. Now again, exactly the same scenario.
Yeah. Underdog.
He's an underdog, but I'm talking he's an underdog to the point where the show kind of wants Nathan to win.
Yeah, well,
you know what I mean. Nathan was the up and coming guy. Like, he was in my change room at the time. To be fair, it's a bit annoying. I'm cool with Nathan. It was annoying in the fact that he had about 30 people in the change room. They're all like filming him and taking pictures and this. And I was just like, when you're in a change room, you're
zoning in.
You know what I mean? You want to have you see your own space, and he's got half his team and then some, plus like random girls in it. That's not the time. And I think he kind of fell into that trap. Yeah. And he started off amazing. That first round, definitely him. And towards the end, I think Arnold caught him with something.
Yeah, I think it was like first round Nathan, second round.
This is what
I like about
Arnold. He's a man.
He adapts. And for me, like watching the fighters do that in the fight, and then it kind of leveled out a bit. And the last round, I was just like, wow, he's like, he's catching his guy.
From then, I've been watching him.
Been watching. Triple A, that's a new nickname, right? He likes that.
Yeah, but it's. I think as a fighter, cardio is king. Yeah, and I think that's where he comes into.
He's non-stop.
I wouldn't say he's the most talented in the sense of skill wise. Yeah, he's well rounded.
Yeah, he's very well rounded.
Very well rounded.
For me, they're the most awkward people. What I mean is, like, when you get a fighter that is like, let's say 7 jiu-jitsu, 7 wrestling, 7 stand-up. They are the most awkward people because no matter what position, it's still a massive fight for you.
He's like a 7 there, but he's like a 12 on cardio.
Yeah, exactly.
And that makes a difference. That makes a big difference because
he can take a hit.
All of those,
like Darren Elkins.
Because if you look at the first round, McQuarrie was catching him, and obviously sometimes you can't help being a slow starter. That's just the way your brain works. So, but after a while, he's between him and his corner, and this is what I love. When you've got a good corner, for me, when I see a fighter come in, they lose the first round and they go away, that's got to be something to do with your corner. Yeah, it's got to do with your fight caliber.
You have to have a good relationship with them.
I think your corner is helping you because they understand you and they're seeing what's going wrong.
I don't know if does his dad corner him because I know his dad's an MMA fighter or was in kickboxing.
Body lifter.
But he had an MMA fight.
I think his dad does.
So again, that helps.
His dad did do mixed martial arts.
Yeah. Because I actually watched the fight. I think his dad's last fight. and his dad won.
Yeah.
And because I saw him tweeting about it, like getting excited
wicked.
about his dad and stuff.
Was
And
that-
I
how
was
long
like,
really
was that
recently?
no, that was it's when he was still in before he got signed.
Yeah,
So it was
okay,
when he was still
okay.
things like
But still, isn't
yeah.
it?
But he was like I was watching his father. Like, his dad's hench.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
massive.
yeah.
That's what he said. He was the world's strongest man. Or something
Okay.
like that.
Yeah. But he did. He's doing well, and I want to see him just keep going.
Same.
Right now, there's so many UK guys that are just pushing through right
Got
now.
you,
So many
Jimmy.
of them.
Who is the guy with the mohawk?
Gosh, I can't even say his second name, man.
Yeah.
Rapid, bro.
Yeah, he throws some mad kicks. But that
His mobility
overhand,
and
Yeah.
the balance.
yeah, it was really good. That overhand
Yeah.
was naughty.
But it's funny though because I
The way he
saw-
pounced on him.
Yeah, it
but
was beautiful.
The
It was
thing is,
beautiful.
I saw it coming. Yeah, if you watch the way it's, and again, it's from watching the points, this back and forth movement. You can tell how people respond to people's twitches. Yeah, and
Do you know his background?
I actually don't know his background, but what it was is it was weird because I used to do this with Mike, but I've watched Mike. So Mike would do a certain movement and I would say, okay, he's going to throw this punch just based on the gap that the person was offering. So I'll be standing at the side of the cage or whatever. It's different now because he's getting so much more education from Alexis at London Shoots. So his style, even though it's his style, it's adapted, it's changed. So I'm not there all the time. But with this guy, it's very similar to a points kind of movement. And all he does is, if you watch where he puts the pressure on and then my man starts to then pressure him, watch him stutter as he goes back. And what it is he's moving back and he's looking to counter. But what he realizes is he doesn't fully commit to the counter because he realizes, he's just too much out of range.
Yes, he's waiting for it.
And the problem is what you then do is you don't take as big a step back. You take a smaller step back. Now, for the object coming towards you, you don't notice how close you're now gathering speed because you've only registered from his first step back.
Yeah.
So you take a smaller step back, you step in too much, now you're in range.
No, it was a beautiful.
Yeah,
Is that what Gunnar Nelson did as well against Shaban?
Oh,
I saw like
That was beautiful.
Yes.
That was
Shaban
another one,
repeated
yeah.
the same trick.
But
Yes.
again, Gunner's got that kind of style where it's again you're reading that
And you saw
space
his
between.
posture.
Yeah, it's very that's him all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
That's him all the time.
What
and that helps you get in and out.
What I liked about it though is the way he caught him with a sweet shot, and he could have just stood back, I reckon, but he was like, no, I want this. So he kind of like done his shot, clean shot, made his space, went in patient. You know, some people maybe would have jumped on too early.
For me though, I would have got killed. And any one of us would have got killed. But this is how you know he's very confident in his ground. If I hit somebody and then snap them down to try and do a choke, my coach would have come in there.
Ground and pound, right? Ground and
You just finish him off.
pound.
Like
Overeem's mistake, right? Overeem's mistake again.
There you go. And I've seen. You know what? Even Woodley did the same thing the first time.
Was it
Now
round
you've
3 or
rocked
something?
him massive. And then you've jumped for a
He was
guillotine.
pretty close.
Not 100%. Don't get me wrong. 100%. It was
Ground and pound
deep.
would end it, yeah.
But now you're on your back from a failed, and you're not only on your back, you're on your back, and your arm is tired as hell. Because trying to squeeze at that when you could have just been throwing, like swinging for the hills and trying to finish that. But again, this is how you Gunny, you know he's comfortable.
I had no doubt in him once he went.
Of course. Don't get me wrong. He's sick on the floor anyway. And again, just quick shout out for Brad Pickett on his last fight.
Yes.
I know it didn't go his way, but that's Brad Pickett.
sorry
Brad
for
Pickett, he's a warrior, man. He's a warrior.
I respect it. I mean, we were watching it here on Saturday, and I kind of called it how it was going to go because I've seen Brad Pickett fight before, and he's one of these guys. He's really good, but what sometimes I wish for him,
Demetrius Johnson, man.
yeah.
Holy
What I wish for him to do sometimes is know you've won the fight, and then kind of just bore it out a little bit.
I think he switched off in his
tactical.
head there. I think he did switch off.
It's Brad. Watch his fights. Watch him. He
fights through and through though, isn't
yeah. He's just a fighter. He
Yeah,
loves to
that's what I
fight.
mean. He's just a natural fighter.
It's not a case of. I don't think it's a case of he doesn't know how to fight any other way. I think this is what he wants to do. And I think on that last one, what I wanted him to do was that third round, just come out, tie him up, get him on the floor or something.
That's not him.
Pound him out, but he just kind of.
That's not him. That's not him. So it's difficult to. He'd have to train that beforehand, and I've obviously been down to Titans and stuff. I've seen them guys train, and he's that he loves to fight. You know you can see it in someone, but it's not about the tactical side of it at all. He just loves to fight. Whereas we was talking about Woodley saying, no, you know what, I had to be very tactical. For this particular fight. move on to the next fight. I might not have to be.
Yeah.
I might, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But some people are.
Dan
some
Hardy
people
dealt
are.
with it well as well, by the way. Dan Hardy going in the ring after and speaking to Brad Pickett, obviously after he lost, like shout out Dan Hardy and John Gooden as well, man. Two English, English
guys doing. Yeah, they're doing well, man.
Gooden, the fellow vegan as well. Hardy's on his path. Man.
He's on it.
Yeah. All right.
He's
All right. Talk to me.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
Talk to him.
What? Veganism, bro.
No. We're gonna move on.
You was that for a bit though, right?
I tried it for a I tried it for a fight.
Big up, man. Respect.
Tried it for a fight,
and of course you won the
saying
fight.
That actually,
obviously.
But you know what's funny though? I have to say, my friend did kill me because it was the fight against. Gosh, I forgot his name now. Black guy ran at me and I hit him with a shot straight away.
What was his name?
I don't know why he'll come back to me, but hit him with a shot. He's fallen over. I carried on, and my friend, because he knows that I was doing the vegan thing, and he's like, you know that first punch? I was like, yeah. He's like, you probably would have like knocked him out
if you went vegan.
he's like, that was a vegan punch.
Bless
I was like, shut up, man. Shut up. Vegan punch. But something actually would like, as you were saying about just general diet, I want to change now because I'm finding myself, because just being greedy pig that I am, is after every fight, I seem to be getting heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier. And it's making the cuts a lot harder. I know there's been problems with a load of different people and how, for me, I still blame the fighter because I think they're leaving it very last minute to lose a lot of weight.
And then they only have is Bellator weigh-ins the same? It's in the morning?
Yes, they've just changed it. Okay, probably like less
you have
than
less
a year.
hours on the day of to lose it, and that's why the problems are occurring.
Yeah. So it's not the day off. It's the day before, but in the morning. In the morning.
The day of the weigh-in though.
But even down to the boxing, because the boxers, they have their I know again it's probably all underhanded a bit, but just the fact that they got it in place, they've got training books. So and they keep a track of your weight. Okay, whereas MMA, that doesn't exist, and it's you kind of self-taught and exactly. It's guys that are. I've been there. I'm not gonna say who it was. I've been there where guys are in the sauna and their coach is holding them in and they're trying to push their way out, and you're like, no, 10 more minutes. He's like, let me out. Like I was like, no, I would never do that. Never do that. So that's why I've always tried to be as close to my weight as possible.
Yeah. Well, this is it. Like I get to see him when he's on weight. He'll tell you, I'm kind of always on his case. What you weighing now? What you weighing? Just random times. And the way I see it is stuff like, the Khabib incident, that documentary that was on BBC One for that guy who fought Louise.
Yeah, Dean.
As well. I'm not sure what his situation was. I'm not sure if he got called in last minute or something like that. So I can't really comment on his situation.
I don't think someone of his caliber, because he's a top fighter. Yeah. I don't see him getting called last minute for a fight and accepting it.
Why don't people, like, I know this is the weight I want to fight in. Why don't I walk around close to that weight and then, or start my camp a little bit earlier and modify it so that I'm on point in time, but I don't have to cut so much weight beforehand.
Because look at what Johnny Hendricks did when he was successful.
Yeah.
That's why. Because you can gain 25 pounds on the fight and then you can come in like that. When it works, it's nails.
Yeah.
But when you get too caught up on board,
then you're relying on that disadvantage of having that extra weight and having that extra sting.
Depends on your style, though.
Yeah.
Depends on your style. If you are a grappler or a wrestler,
and
that's what I was
going to touch on with regards to what you're saying about style. I think if you would probably refine your technique a lot more, and as we were talking about on that cardio. If you can have that cardio and have just enough to nullify somebody,
what it is, it's easy to say.
Of course.
But no, it's just that it just depends on the mentality of the person. There's some amazing fighters in our gym, including, and I've been to other gyms, and I know, and I understand it happens. There are certain guys that are just lazy, as talented as they are. They just can't push themselves through that threshold in terms of cardio.
That must be
and they hate
spiritual though, like to go on a fast and to be working out and be sweating. The mental training you get from that prepares you for the war of the fight, right? And that's why I always thought
that's one aspect.
Conor Diaz won. He missed that refinement because he was able to walk in. It wasn't like a different day. Whereas before, he was trained mentally for that wall coming up. It was the routine of going through it. When he didn't go through that, he wasn't ready for it. He was
it's actually one thing that John Hathaway said is he hates it when he fights in the UK. Yeah. And the mental preparation of traveling, it kind of puts you in the mindset of having to get ready before a certain time.
You're in the hotel,
to travel, the hotel. Yeah. But when you're home, it's very, and I do understand it. The distractions are you're at home. It's a lot more lax.
Some fighters in the States used to go away, didn't they? Was it Randy Couture that used to do that?
Okay.
Used to go away from home. It was either Randy or Tito.
Smart.
But it makes sense. But again, it's down to the individual. Like for myself, I was used to mad hecticness. Because of the freestyle world, there was like, you go into a room, like 1,000 people in the room, and you just got loads of mats going on. It's just hectic. And then I go and fight. So I'm used to noise and stuff before a bout. My dad was the complete opposite. He's more like, it has to be a certain way. One of our, there's a couple of our guys in when I was fighting before, who you couldn't talk to them before because they're not responding. They're in their own zone, like. For me, I'm normal. I could just chat now, just go out there and fight.
Go and do it.
Just what I mean? I could just switch it on there.
Yeah.
But everyone's different. Yeah. Everyone's different. Some people need that preparation. Some people don't. You know what I mean? But I can understand it.
I think they should look into it more. That's what it was, like an open question that goes out to the fighters as well. Look at that, because for me, it's someone like Khabib missing weight and missing a fight on a big show.
Disappoints a lot of people.
Yeah, well, it disappoints himself.
You should just do 6 weeks, like you say, keep a book. 6 weeks, you have to be within a certain percentage for these 6 weeks, and then you can fight.
I think if you have a book, it just keeps it easier, because the amount of times, and I do the same thing. You just don't want to look at the scale. Yeah, like you just don't want to know how much you weigh.
Bet.
you just don't want to know how much you weigh.
Somehow he just does it like he on point as well. Like when I'm like, okay, what you weigh now? Oh, I'm this. And then coming up close to the fight, I'm like, what? I'm like, freaking hell, how's he do it? Like, how is he cutting the weight? Just because I hear
this is a mindset. Second, my body, I'm telling myself, okay, I'm ready to go now. My body's like, okay. It's just like it just responds to everything I'm
Intention
eating.
is everything.
Yeah.
You set the intention.
Definitely.
What were you
It's
going to ask
the major question.
What were you going to ask me before? Yeah.
The world flat or round?
Oh my god! I was waiting for this.
Of course.
I'm waiting for
because you haven't actually spoken to me about it.
I know.
I'm speaking to everyone around. Tim saying the world's flat. Tim ain't spoken to me. Man. It's the perfect place.
Yeah, let's do it.
Talk to me, because I want to know, why do you see it that way? Why do you see? I've heard it a lot now.
Because there ain't no evidence, bro.
And I get that.
Yeah,
but
let's drop it, man. I mean, NASA. Let's start with NASA. Just a big cover up, man. Like once you see the lies of it, it's so obvious and it's funny. But when you're trapped in the bubble of it, and it's from movies, from watching Martian and all these different movies, we have such an idea in our heads of what space is like, the way you'd float around, all these different things. We see videos of them on the space station and they're floating around. It's not hard to simulate, flight and different things to simulate it. And going to the moon, like we went in 1969 and then like a couple of times 1972.
I never thought that was real.
Why have we not been back? In 40 years, technology has gone so far.
I think that was a war tactic. Yeah. And basically warning everybody else that we got the technology to do this, so go on, attack us.
Yeah. So they never went to the moon, first of all. And once you start to see that, then you go, okay, if they never went to the moon, what's all these lies? The image that they give us of the Earth, there's a photo of the Earth. They admit it's a composite. It took 4 months to make. They took it from satellites that never left through the Van Allen belt or whatever. Like, you look at it, then you realise NASA's lying and that's a cover-up. Once you go there, that's the first chapter. Yeah. Then you can look at, people go, but you fly in a circle, you go around. No, you fly above the Earth. You drive around London, you can drive around the North Circular and you go in a circle and you're back where you started. It's not necessarily round the sphere. The edge could just be giant ice walls or something keeping all the water in. No one ever went there because we're just shipping between continents. We fly between different continents. Antarctica you can't go to. There's a treaty that protects it. Every government organisation has signed a treaty that it's protected land and no one can go to Antarctica. Now you can go to a tiny bit of snow, but that's not necessarily like you might be on the land there, but it doesn't mean that you're travelling around Antarctica. So between those things, it's between NASA and Antarctica.
What made you get into it what made you even ask the question? Who told you?
Yeah, and honestly, trust me, I know how insane it is, and you're thinking this guy's mentally lost it. Like people think this.
No, I don't think
not you necessarily, but but people listening, they'll disregard everything else because of this one thing, and that's the beauty of it, of how deep it goes into people's. They really think it's their own knowledge and thought and belief that it's that.
It's
But
not.
I agree with that, because it's obviously you're raised. You go through science books, science lessons.
Constantly told that it was. There was a point when it was officially agreed by the powers that be that the world was flat.
Yeah.
And anyone that said it was round was called a lunatic.
I think it went the other way once it came around.
Yeah. And then it flipped to that it's round.
Yeah.
So from the point, because I've started hearing a lot of people speak about it as well. And at first,
Kyrie Irving, Shaquille O'Neal, man.
I had that first thought, like, what are these guys talking about?
Yeah.
But then the statement that came is, where did I get all my information from?
Yeah.
So, but then my conversation goes back. Where did they get their proof from? Why can you trust
That's
people?
that's one thing I agree with.
Why can you trust the people that are telling you that it's flat?
I make my own observation. I'm out here with my ear to the ground, bro. You see me in mountains, bro. I'm out asking the questions, and the universe gives answers when you ask the question.
Yeah, of course.
I'm asking, why is the moon never spinning? We see the same moon every day, the same. Everything else in nature grows spirals. The moon sits and stares like a fucking CCTV staring at us. It doesn't spin like the way it should spin. The way the sun flies. The sun and the moon are the exact same size when they line up, but they tell us this is 400,000 times bigger. This is that far away. Yeah. When you stand in front of a wall or a mountain or something and the sun sets, the shadow doesn't go up the wall. The shadow fades into the ground like there's just a beam of light traveling over this surface. Yeah. When you shine a laser down a 6-mile canal that's flat, you can see the thing at the other end when it should curve. Buildings should lean away from you because we're on a sphere, and you look at a building in the distance, it should be tilting backwards like that. You fly in a plane, everything you look out.
I think, with those points there, like, my thing was, because like I said, that question made me think myself. I said, okay, then, do you know what? That's a very valid question, because my brain works very logically.
Yeah,
but
good.
There were a few things. There were a few things that for me, with regards to that, if the world was flat, when the sun comes up, why is the rest of the world not getting the light?
Yeah.
What is the debate for that? Because because it lies on, are we going around the sun or is the sun going around us?
So we're on a disc like a plate.
Yeah.
And the sun's above, and it's only so big. It's not as big as they say it is. Yeah. And it's going around like that, like like a yin and yang symbol above the thing, sun and the moon. And there's a beam of light, and there's atmosphere and all of the things that eventually stop the light getting past a certain distance.
But what is it that is stopping it from getting that certain distance? Because, okay, even if it was, let's just say the world is flat.
Well, it's not that high up in perspective. Eventually, everything on the horizon sinks. You know, when you look down the street and you see the street lamps, and they go into the ground. Eventually, the street lamps meets the ground.
So what about
eventually the sun meets the ground?
What about the position of the stars then?
Yeah, that's. I mean, for me, that's the simplest thing. If you want to prove it to yourself, take a time lapse of the stars, and they spin every single night. You've got the North Star sits in the middle, and for all of eternity, as far as we've known, people use the North Star above the North Pole to guide us, to know where the stars are. You've got the exact same Orion's belt, all these different, the Big Dipper, have always been the same. Now, if stars are different distances away, and if we're spinning at, God knows how fast we're spinning, and we're traveling around the sun, and the sun's traveling.
Why isn't it changing distance?
You've got these different stars, like one's here, and we're down there. They'd be like spiraling. You'd see all these different patterns, but it just sits and spins like a giant dome above our head, like in Truman Show.
Because the thing for me is, like, in that, because again, like what you're saying, you have evidence for that, you have evidence for that. I'm not a scientist. I'm not that great at maths.
You're born with, you're all knowing. You know it, but we need to remove these filters.
When we say that someone's up here and someone's down here, wouldn't their view of the stars and what stars they can see be different? And is that the case? So that's the case of whoever's down here, whether it be Australia or China, did they see the same stars that we see? And that's my question. So this is me asking, like, okay, cool. This is what you're saying. Yeah. Okay, cool. Back it up. Because in reality, when I look at it, whether the world is round or whether it is flat, what does that actually matter to us? Like, it's the big, for me, the bigger picture is, where does it then go? So we know the government lies to us about loads of stuff. And we know you heard the term hypernormalization. Where we give you bits of truth, we give you bits of lies, and
wasn't
then you don't know
a massive video on that?
There was
documentary
Adam
on BBC,
Curtis, which was
that's actually a very good one.
Yeah, they had that, and they had Bitter Lake as well, which I thought was
Carnage is another one that they just released, which is really good.
Carnage,
on BBC iPlayer.
Okay,
check that one.
Definitely.
And that's about the same thing.
I went to the premiere. It's about animals. It's set in the future, looking back on how treat animals.
Okay, I'm gonna check that out.
Can I go back to your question of why?
So it's more to do, what is it on the grand scale of things? If you've got
I mean, you're born in this world, and you know who your mother is. You might not know who your father is. You can be told, but you never know. But you know who your mother is.
You want to know? Do we?
Or do you? Yeah, maybe.
I don't remember the birth.
But the Mother Earth, you should know about. You should know the truth. But we just think we're on a random ball in this Goldilocks zone. This always got to me anyway.
Yeah.
We're just the right distance away from the sun. That there's 0 degrees and there's 10 degrees. Oh, that feels good.
Yeah.
But if we were 1,000 miles that way, it would all be too cold. And if we were 1,000 miles that way, it would all be too hot. And yet we're like the exact same in this Goldilocks zone on some random ball shooting through infinite space randomly. And we all like, well, I've only got one life here. There's no God. I better like take what I can from this life before I'm gone and go. Yeah. And it makes us act, not everyone, but it leads us towards selfishness and we've got one life. Let's do. If we realize, when you see the truth of what's going on, you realize there's a creator. We're all in this together. You act more with a community and more, you want to get to the deeper chapters, but we're so far from the real depths of what we could be doing here with all our clothes and brands and chocolate and snacks.
Yeah, obviously you can see that.
We're so distracted and we know the government lies. Yeah. We just don't know how far and how many of us are ready to face it, because knowledge is earned and you have to earn it by asking the right questions and people just aren't ready for it, man. People can't handle the truth and so they don't want to hear it, and they'll call people like me crazy and others crazy. But it's athletes athletes like Kyrie and yourself. I'm not saying you see what you want, but athletes are distracted, and this is what I realised. We're distracted in our own games, trying to be the best, trying to get this belt, win this championship, win the Premier League. Yeah. And athletes are the people that would be leading the planet, because they're in body and mind and in control, and they're smart, they're tacticians, and they have it all aligned. They have mind, body, spirit, and we're chasing the money and we're chasing championships. And then we're too old and we support our families and then we retire because we're afraid of poverty and all that stuff. But we could be the ones that are actually seeing this and changing what's going on right now.
Have you ever thought that, because I love the mind shift, that's happened over the centuries, and you mentioned something about if we believe there was a God. There was a period when everybody was quite godly in their own right.
When the world was, when they knew the world was flat.
It didn't matter. It didn't matter. It didn't matter that there was a God. The things that happen now were still happening, i.e. the rapes, killings, the muggings. It wasn't peace and harmony.
Well, I mean, we don't know, man. We don't know our ancestors. But, I think we're lied to a lot. We think it was all madness back then, and I think there was.
I think you said
isn't there a middle line where you're kind of obviously basically saying that you're worried about everything that you've been told. Yeah. Because I think that I agree with a lot of stuff.
It's empowering though. Yeah, but you go, I see what I see and I choose, not what school told me, not what my parents said.
But in terms of going back, how else would you find out your history without actually reading books and going along the lines that somebody has written?
To put it down.
Yeah. Because you're all knowing, but you have to remove all these things, this baggage that you've grown up with. Like you have to be realigned with the plants. The plant, we talk about the plants. You meet your ancestors, bro. You can speak to them there. There's other ways, like ayahuasca people do and all this stuff. You have the information in you. You have the questions, but it's whether you deem them important or not. And most people just don't deem these questions important because they go, well, I'm just getting about my life. And if I talk about that, people will think I'm weird. Or if I look into that, but
have you ever thought on, because you talk about the earth and stuff like that. Have you ever thought that the earth is more God than anything? I know you mentioned about the distance from the sun, and this was right. If you look at the size of the universe, why couldn't that chance happen? People say, oh, we can't be the only things in the universe because they imagine how big the universe is. Well, there's a possibility it is, because if you say 1 in a million, then we are that one in a million.
But that's the great go-to for NASA. Oh, it's just so vast. It's so vast.
It's a great go-to, but you have to say, if you think logically, there is a possibility. And when you think of the possibility, if we were that 1 in a million, we are the only consciousness, then we are the only ones to be able to understand that and accept that. Because if there is nothing else, then nothing else can accept that. I'm not saying that there isn't anything else. I'm just trying to put that into perspective if we were the only ones. Now, touching on if the earth is our God in a sense, then if you look at how things have gone on and how nature itself goes on, so i.e. plant doesn't get from A to B to C unless it has a relationship with a specific animal or a specific insect. Now the insect's urge is sometimes to eat the flower. It has a hunger, but if the flower could speak, maybe the flower it would be in pain. I'm not saying it is, but I'm saying if the flower could speak,
God didn't give it that ability to act.
But it's in order for that seed to grow, to multiply, that needs to happen. And now I'm going to put into the perspective of humans. I'm just going to jump real quick. Before we had all of these wars and these genocides, what was the population? What was the population count? 50,000, 100,000. Then it went to something million. Then we started to populate a bit more. We started to share knowledge. So someone had the fuse, someone had the idea for the wires. That came together, and things started to expand. And then we, depending on where you look at it, some people say aliens. I say it was a gathering of information. Yeah. So now that happens. Now we've got all these genocides. People are dying by the millions, but the population is growing. Just like plants are getting eaten.
Yeah, but what do you mean by it though?
So if you're saying a plant by nature has to be eaten in order to multiply, to be destroyed, the theory of the Big Bang. What had to happen? What is the Big Bang?
That's the biggest load of nonsense. That's what the whole.
Are you a religious person?
I'm absolutely spiritual.
Yeah, but this is.
So that's why I'm saying it. Only reason I say
there's a creator above us.
Yeah, okay. So use the term God,
and ants wouldn't know they're in an ant farm. They'd walk around and they'd walk to the edge of that thing, and they'd carry on moving within the thing. Animals do that.
Yeah,
if we found an edge and we knew there was an edge, we'd be like, what's on the outside of this? What goes beyond this? We're inquisitive. We have a different modality, and we don't know what's beyond it. We're all too busy talking to each other, trying to realise what's going on. I think it was Terence McKenna said, a sand can't give another grain of sand enlightenment. Yeah. You need something else to come in. We need plants to come in or something else. We can't just give each other enlightenment and go, this is what's going on. We need to look to nature, look to plants, look to changing our diets, to eat more fruit. Fruit has bare knowledge in it, man.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're so removed. That's mango, man. That's awesome. But we want to eat.
So do you think we're doing a circle then? Whereas we were probably more in tune in that sense with, i.e., what we ate, how it affected our body. So like you were saying earlier, touching on, I drink this specific water, it makes me feel away.
We would drink spring water, river water.
I was doing this. We don't have access to that now, as in to just go out of our back garden and do it. So do you think it's a case of full circle? Because I love my meat, but I go to vegan restaurants. Yeah, I don't have a problem with going to a vegan restaurant.
Is it your meat or is it some animal's flesh?
I think Mikey...
Did you hear about the Brazilian thing that they were saying?
What's that?
That they were finding like bits of cardboard and stuff in their meat, like hair.
That's
and
the game you play, man.
Yeah, but with it, I think
when you go into a vegan restaurant, do you enjoy the vibe in there?
I wouldn't. Only because of the people I'm with.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think it's because it's the same when I go. It's the same when I go to a meat restaurant. I normally go out with certain people. Like I've got to that stage in my life where I'm not just going to a restaurant with anybody. So if I were to go to a vegan restaurant with you, I think it would be good because of how you think. You don't think the same way as me, but you think in a similar way to me. That you don't just believe. So when you're talking about the flat earth, for me, at the end of the day, if you're saying that I can't write numbers, I can't do this, like you're saying, I can't prove it. You can't prove to me that it is, because you're throwing at me the same technology, the same words, which we mentioned earlier, that scientists are throwing at me.
I want you to go out and I want you to ask questions.
Where do you look? As in, what have you watched? What have you read? Where can we go? If I want to take this further and actually look
honestly,
into it,
100%.
Or are you just saying it's just out there?
It's my own, like, I've seen videos and I've seen things, and these people, they have no reason to lie. They have nothing to gain. They lose family, they lose friends because people think that they fucking lost it. So for me, they have less to gain. But it's not that. It's seeing how the information sits. It's being a clear vessel and not listening to things through your own filters, because we have our brain going off trying to challenge everything we hear. But if you switch that off and just absorb it, they say, I think Aristotle said, it's the mark of an intelligent man to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. And it's just simply that. You entertain the thought, watch the videos, go, okay, and take it without letting your brain go haywire. And when I did that, I thought, okay, I've got some questions for this. And I went out into the world and I stood on mountains, I watched sunsets, I watched the ocean, I watch how when you go up a mountain, the ocean always meets your eye line. However high up in the world you are on a plane, on a mountain, the ocean is always, it looks massive when you're on a mountain. It's way up there. And then when you go down to the ocean, it's there. And I'm thinking, if we are on a ball, as I go up, that would drop down. It's simple logic. And that was the first question I had. And from there, I was like,
flat though? Wouldn't that be more on a flat?
On a flat plane, it would always come to meet your eye line. If it was on a round, it would, as you got higher, everything would drop down because you'd always be at the highest point of the ball.
You're saying you're curving.
But no, but what I'm thinking is more of a perspective where if you look at, and again, I'm just talking from the stuff that has been taught to me in respect to gravity. If you're on a sphere, just because we have the perspective of that is at that angle, that is at that angle, that is at that angle. When you're on a sphere, what's up and what's down in space? You're on a sphere in space. Just because we think we're at the top of the earth and Australia and China at the bottom.
But wherever you are, you'd still see everything would drop away from you. Wherever you are on the ball, everything else drops away from you where you are. And,
I totally understand that, but we're talking it from a minute scale. Whereas when you look at the,
I was gonna say, wouldn't it change? Wouldn't it change?
Well, that's my understanding.
So as you say about the ants, just for a second.
Yeah.
You say about the ants. If I put an ant on a ball, he may only see a certain.
Because it's the ball's so big and he's tiny.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, of course. There's so many that it could be. I'm
know what I mean?
not saying this is proof.
Yeah,
I'm not saying
of course,
this is proof. But these are the questions that you start with, and from those questions, you let it out, and you got to be open with it. Because if your ego is getting involved and saying no because of this, you don't realize how deep the programming from watching movies, from watching these Martian films, it goes. No,
I agree with that. I agree with that. But for me, I don't need to. For me, that is never going to be a worry in terms of pride because. If it is flat and it is then figured out to be flat, it doesn't change anything in my life right now. So it doesn't.
Apart from the world would.
But I'm saying in terms of
I know
me,
what you mean. Yeah.
I don't need to challenge it because
cool.
if it changed, it doesn't. That's
cool, man. It's not for everyone, but for me, it seems important to know this. And I
think it's good. It's got you to the top of mountains.
Yeah, man.
Whatever your motivation is to get to where you believe you need to get to, at the end of the day, like you're saying, and this is why I respect you, because you've got a view that not everybody agrees with. And it goes back to the Woodley thing that I was talking about earlier on. Yeah. Just because not everybody agrees with it or doesn't believe it's the case, you could have 100 people against you. This majority of this room, show of hands for guys who thinks the world's flat. Yeah, and who thinks the world's round?
All the guys you brought, yeah?
Okay, so you guys...
There's a war, Michael, when you're ready to join us, bro.
You guys,
we out here, man.
You guys are outnumbered by one.
That's pretty
but
close.
At the end of the day, you believe what you believe.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we can still sit down.
We can
still talk.
Because
none of us have seen it. None of us...
I understand your point, but one question I want to ask.
Yeah.
That's one question, but if in a few, let's say in the next 50 years, there will be a time where you get to go in a private space.
Yeah, they keep pushing it back. Yeah, I'll take it, but you can't go anywhere, bro. You can't go anywhere.
But if you do go up, and you look down, and you see the world, you see the curvature, would you admit you're wrong?
Bro, I'm the first guy to admit I'm wrong. I got no ego in this game.
You could, there'll be no point in saying at that point.
I had to admit I was wrong to get to this point, man. I'm not afraid to say I'm wrong, but I was wrong before. Now I know. I had a thought. Do you think the world's spinning? When you go outside, is the world spinning?
In fact, I was gonna ask you that because the clouds are moving.
Clouds are moving, but we ain't moving.
No, I'm not. Obviously, we're not moving. Yeah. I'm just saying in terms of seeing clouds do this.
Yeah. But we're moving.
Something's happening.
We're moving at 1,000 miles an hour. The clouds not moving at 1,000 miles. That's just wind from the ocean coming over.
But where's the wind coming from?
The oceans and that.
No, but
They're listening to it.
Yeah.
I was
plugging it down. Can I tell you where the ultimate the reason they're really is we're on a giant ring magnet, and once we understand magnetism, we don't have that much magnets about, bro. But when you get into magnetism and electromagnetism, we can have free energy. That's the ultimate.
Yeah, that's what Tesla was.
That's what Tesla was on. That's what the Egyptians.
What's his name? Peter Sage is on that.
Yeah,
setting up that, using the energy from the sun
free energy,
to beam that down. Yeah,
but we're distracted, and this is the hardest thing. Scientists
we know why
are so
they
distracted.
We know why they don't want that.
Yeah,
because it stops the whole money thing, doesn't it?
It just and it all comes back to. I mean, beyond that, but we're distracted. Scientists are distracted. They don't know where to look because they already think that it's accepted that gravity is real. They're on a ball, and so they don't know where to look. And I see scientists in these worlds getting confused because they can't take a step back from their world, look at a few different things, and start putting the pieces together.
When I listen to what some of the things that scientists say, it is all theories. Yeah. They're never like this is such and such.
Well, gravity is a theory. Gravity has never been proven, and even Einstein himself on his deathbed said, "I think my theories will be disproven soon." Like he didn't think it would go on this long.
Everything's a theory.
Yeah,
everything's a theory.
No, but as much as you say it's a theory, I still failed in science because you're telling me that this is the right thing.
It's not a theory that when you freeze ice and you shine a laser across it, it's dead flat for infinite, and it should curve around the ball.
I think the problem comes when we talk about the language and the words we use. So as you're saying, as you grow, as you get a bit older, you tend to stop using certain words, or you catch yourself using certain words that everyone else uses, but you understand the effect and the power of that word. So we were talking about depression earlier, and there's certain words that are constantly drummed into people's head. Why it makes them feel depressed? Because it makes them feel like they're less than nothing. Yeah. And it just might be a specific everyday word. Like we might joke, "Oh, you idiot." And then eventually, we say it so much whenever a specific thing happens.
complex.
He gets a complex.
It could be an everyday belief, like we're on a ball and we're all going to die and we're going nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
It could stem from that, bro.
Yeah.
If we knew the truth, we would be in community and we would be looking out for each other.
Yeah.
And when we realise that, the athletes are going to step up, and they're starting to, man.
Do you think that do you think that could happen?
We got those power. Our DNA's been tampered with.
The whole one community thing, because this has always been my thing with regards to. I choose.
What was the question? Sorry.
Do you think that could happen about the whole one unity thing? Because
in terms of the world,
you're talking about you're talking about but it's still a disc. That could still be a disc.
Yeah, fair enough. In terms of the...
Could be a sideways disc. Yeah, see, you got Scott's going. David Blaine.
In terms of what adults ever see that happening.
Do you think that could happen? Because my thing's always been
smaller communities.
Like you said,
really.
I always. This is the thing because I've been reading on earlier man and stuff like that, and as our communities grew, and what seems to happen is as our groups get slightly bigger, I think they say like 150.
That's the most friendly.
Something like that. Then it starts to go a bit different. And I kind of look at, like you're saying, when I read stuff, when I study stuff, I kind of look what's happening in my own circle.
You relate it to.
Yeah, I relate it to. And I look at certain things and I say to myself, well, you know, us as people, probably interaction within the case of a month, people I actually interact with probably could be roughly about 150 something people in that sense. And I don't get on with everybody. Yeah. And I can't, but because of my personality, I can do it so it doesn't disrupt my life. Yeah. But for some of those people, when they see me, I know it bugs the shit out of them. Because I can see it, I can tell in their body language. And I know for when they see me, we might have never had anything that I could actually put on paper and say, this is what happened. And at what point it took place.
It's not really an answer then.
Yeah, it's
if
not.
That's the minimum.
But what I'm saying is I think a lot of it is natural as to the reason why the way we are. Because I think you don't have a solution without a problem. Yeah, you do. If you didn't have a solution, or to get a solution, you need a problem first. Yeah. The problem comes before the solution. Yeah. And I think how we've advanced, how you've got to this way of thinking, is there had to be a problem for you to find a solution. How you got to climb into
people are hurting. People are hurting. They've been lied to. People have got their bodies are breaking down, and we've been removed from our ancestors. We've been removed from the plants. Yeah. And we've been given drugs to just numb us down, and we're so lost right now. Right, and I'm saying, look, there's a lot of things that cause this.
I got deep into conspiracy theories at the time. Yeah. It just makes you paranoid, man. But,
it can do, or it can empower you.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Because I was researching. Some people are ready. But do you think there is a pocket or pockets of people that are purposely doing this, knowing this, and purposely doing this?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
There's definitely plants within there, yeah. And one of the interesting things that actually made me first perk up was when I tweeted Flat Earth, because I was just defending B.O.B's right to clip. B.O.B was the first person that mentioned it. And I was saying he can think what he wants. Like, what do we know? I've not been to space. Yeah, the rapper. Okay. And so I tweeted with the word Flat Earth in, and I got these attacks from people. And I was like, where's this coming from? And it's because there are people in place that search for that word, and they get paid per response to come and attack. And they go on the forums, and they get paid per post on the forums. And it's like, who's spending that time each day to go on these forums and just attack and say this stuff? And it's like, there's people in place basically that are putting out, they put the whole word conspiracy just is an envelope, and they go, oh, it's just a conspiracy, and it makes people switch off because they're already struggling in their lives. They don't want to think about this. They don't want to think about 9/11 being, false flag and all that. And most people can't because they're hurting. But some people are well off enough, or they're athletic and they're happy and they're healthy, and they go, you know what, I can give this some time. And you said yourself,
happy to challenge it.
I'm happy to challenge. Let me do some critical thinking. And it's for those people, and we need more people like them.
I was just gonna say, man.
I love it. I love
come
these
back
kind
to
of
things as well. Every 3 years or something, come back to a conspiracy, because you'll see it with different eyes, because you'll have grown. I came back to 9/11, and when you watch it fall, in the beginning when I first heard that's a conspiracy, I couldn't see what people are saying. Oh, it falls at a certain rate. I know when.
Straight away.
Yeah, I'm like, but now when I see it, I'm like, oh yeah, obviously that's falling out.
Just the way it happened.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like you can reassess these things. And
it's weird how something as big as that can happen and so blatantly be something dodgy. And
they killed their own people. America did their own people. So how far do you think the lie is going to go?
Yeah,
people will believe that, but they won't believe this because it's so implanted. You know the film Inception? That's what's happened from childhood, from young. We think it's our own thoughts, our own observations.
You're programmed to.
Look at movies. You horror movies that scare us from nature. That don't go down the creek because you'll get killed by something. Don't be in the dark. don't. This is what happens in space. This is what happens in streets and gangs in London.
Oh,
you know, there's all these movies.
You can ask a kid to draw
Apocalypto. You've seen that movie?
Oh, that's bad as well.
No.
You can
Have
ask
you
a
not
kid
seen Apocalypto?
But no,
To see that.
you can ask a kid to draw an alien, and they'll probably draw it the same.
I've seen it. That movie.
draw an alien. Yeah, aliens. It scares us from space.
Yeah.
We're scared of aliens. We're scared of UFOs. We think we have an idea of what it's like to be in the woods, what it's like to be in a house at night, and we have these deep fears. And I had them. I stopped watching movies. I stopped watching the news, and now I can go out. I can walk around a mountain at night time, pitch black, and I'm fine. But I know 5 years ago I would have been shook at that. Someone like Blair Witch or something, you know. And we do it to ourselves because it's temporary entertainment. What do you think that does to your body, to your chakras, to your organs when you're going through these roller coaster of emotions from these movies we're watching, and we're getting these shocks of like,
Do you not watch movies now? I'm saying, seeing as you see it that way, do you not watch movies?
Not so much. I'd watch like Lord of the Rings or something, or I watch BFG, and I look for truth in this stuff now. I watch this stuff for different. I'm like, what are they planting in these giants? You know.
So you just look at it, as you say, you just look at it with different eyes.
Like they were sleeping on a boat on water. The giants were sleeping on. He was sleeping on a boat on water, and I was like, oh, that's quite cool. Yeah, maybe I should try sleeping on a boat. So I watch it differently, but I won't watch like horror movies or anything like that. And it makes it hard for me to. I enjoyed Martian and what was that film? Equilibrium, I think, the one with Matthew McConaughey. That was amazing.
That was a gun fu.
No, when it was in.
Oh, I know the one you're talking about.
That was incredible. Not Equilibrium.
No.
Oh, Equilibrium's different.
Yeah. It was another one.
But that was amazing anyway. You know, I love that stuff, and that was about time travel and things like that. So I do like movies, and I'm not playing all night. You know,
of course,
it is a roller coaster, and you have to just realize, they're trying to make me think a certain way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to go around like that because I say when I'm hungry, if I see a poster that says Snickers on it, I won't buy Snickers.
Oh, because you fight it.
Yeah, because I'm saying I know that's what you want me to do.
Okay,
so
that's good, man.
That's him.
This is me. I am stubborn in that way. So this is why. This is why. Because I always say there's only so much the brain can take in, and like you're saying, some people can get caught up in these conspiracy theories. You get very paranoid.
Yeah.
So the way I always split it in is obviously what I believe my purpose is on this earth, and I have a view. Which I mentioned when we done that interview with Jahazil last year, and he was a Christian rapper who decided to leave the church, and then he started to get death threats and all this stuff, loads of hate. So he started to look at the world differently, and I said my view is that I believe that the universe is asking the same question: where do I come from?
Yeah.
And we are like little channels, little things that gather the information. Hence why we have these conflicts. Yeah. We are the problem solvers. We are the information. We are the cells that then fire back to the universe because it can't talk the way we talk. But when you talk about vibration, so this is when people say, then the word was spoken. Yeah. Well, what's word? What's sound? It's a vibration. What is majority of the stuff coming from? Vibration. Yeah. So it's an
We're a holographic universe, right? Every atom is like 99.9% nothing.
And this is exactly what I'm talking about. If you got a jar, just say like a snow globe, which is part of the theory of the flat Earth. This snow globe,
man. Because
some people.
They did an operation called Operation Fishbowl when they went to Antarctica. They also did an Operation High Jump, and that's a fishbowl.
What's that? Sorry,
it's like a
Operation High Jump.
The CIA did when they sent Admiral Byrd to Antarctica to discover, and he said there's land out there bigger than America and all this stuff. And then 2 years later, he's dead, and there's no like.
I need to look into that.
No one's going back to Antarctica. And there's a treaty to protect
it.
Admiral Byrd, yeah. But Operation High Jump, Operation Fishbowl.
You've got this snow globe, and then you've got these little bits in there, the little confetti, whatever you call it. And then you shake it. The confetti's there laid on the floor, and then there's water. You shake it, and then all of a sudden, visually, and this is what you're talking about with the atoms and all of that, shaking the vibration. Yeah. Now it looks like something very solid. Everything then starts. Everything then starts to come together. So for me, like you're saying, I kind of feel. So that's why I can't disagree with what you're doing, because someone probably listen to me and say, "What the hell are you talking about? This God, it's the God, it's this God, it's that God, it's that God." You're absolutely
people
crazy.
From time, because there's so many questions, they easily accept any answer. So it just becomes it's easy to say. That's why I've never been into the churches and stuff, because you can't question anything. If you start questioning it, it's like because God.
But that's another. you have church and then you have the laws of the land, and people either follow religion or they follow the laws of the land, and they're both bad options. I want to make, like, I'm sovereign, I want to be spiritual, I want to do my thing, and I'm not harming no one, I'm vegan, I don't harm animals, let me just live. But we can't, because we have to abide by either the religion or like the king or the crown.
Well, it's whatever gives you
the Lord
peace
of the priest.
What you said there, whatever gives you peace. I always say peace of mind, but then there's a question: is it our mind or is it our soul? Whatever gives you peace of soul.
So then, what is paranoia then? Because if something comes up, you always challenge or question it. Is that not?
It's tough, because now I start questioning a lot of things, and you're like, maybe
that's what I mean.
Yeah, but it's does it empower you or does it make you scared? And if it's making you scared, then it's not serving you. If it empowers you because now you know something and you can help people, then that's it.
It doesn't being scared make you think? And I know sometimes we overthink. Yeah. But isn't that fair good? So like that same balance of...
Well, it depends. If you think I'm going to leave the house and the CIA is going to jump on me, then that's not a way to live.
Well, think of it like this, yeah? We're all in a village. We're all... And there's a moat, around the village. So everything... We've got things growing in here, but we can see on the other side, but we know there's crocodiles and there's this in the water. So we go to the edge of the water, we go to... snap, boom, we see some person get taken into the water. Now that puts fear into us, yeah? But there's also going to be that thing where we've got our ego, our pride, I want to be the best. What can I do different from everybody else to make me stand out? Now, in that small little village with the moat around it, with the crocodiles on the outside, probably there's not going to be much to do other than, can you get across the water? And what you're going to do. So your fear is now making you think outside of the box. And also your fear is actually turning into courage, because out of that group,
well, it depends how you look at it, or stupidity, because that's how
Well,
that's how people end up on Worldstar.
You call it stupidity when you're the person that gets eaten. But what happens? That person gets eaten who gets called stupid now sparks off something else in someone else's mind. Okay, I understand that crocodiles are there. Let's kill all the crocodiles. How are we going to kill the crocodiles? Let's find out how we kill the crocodiles. Let's throw stones. Damn, their skin's tough. Oh, we've got plants growing. Let's now make this. Oh, how do you find out you make this? Because someone does something stupid, they fall off a roof, they end up getting stuck by something, or they end up breaking something that now you realise that this can be used as a shard to now kill something. So this is the thing. Out of the fear you're talking about, what happens is...
I'm not talking... You talking about paranoia.
Oh, yeah. Paranoia, fear, similar, not necessarily the same.
It's a certain frequency. There's a frequency, there's a slight change there, I think.
But then it depends on you, the receiver, on how you receive. So I give you the vibration, and how you receive it depends on how you react.
And it depends on, how your filters are, how your own... How you've been built
programmed,
Yeah, exactly. So at a certain age, maybe 10 years ago, if I gave you a certain bit of information, you would have disregarded it.
100%, man. I was not ready for flat.
Now you're ready to take it. And maybe the reason why you're ready to take in certain information is because you've changed your diet.
I asked for courage, I asked for courage. Does God give me courage, or does He give me an opportunity to be courageous?
That's a t-shirt, by the way. I'm not ready for flat Earth. It's a t-shirt.
People ain't ready. The t-shirt is flat Earth piss takers. Man. I ain't even gonna explain that one, man.
But like I said, I just wanted to ask you that as well, because I know it's like I said, it's a topic that's been going around anyway. So there you have it. If you want to know the truth, look for it.
Check Eric Dubé out on YouTube, and Eddie Bravo. Eddie Bravo did a great podcast recently with Eric Dubé. You know Eddie Bravo,
of course,
right? Of course, man.
Well, he actually tweeted one of my he posted one of my submissions.
Hold on, what is he? No, what's the name of his thing? 10th Planet.
Yeah, 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu.
And what planet is that?
I don't know, but he knows he's on it. He's onto it now.
But is that planet round?
It could be, man.
He should change it to flat planet. Yeah, he should do.
He might do. He's very aware of the lies going on.
But definitely. But thank you, man. Thanks for being here. I know it's a bit of a journey getting over.
Sorry I was late, man, but absolutely, I was flattered when you reached out to me to be on the show, and
man.
I'm a big fan, and I look forward to seeing you in person next time you fight.
Well, what's the next thing for you? I know you're kind of just doing... What is it in your mind right now? What's the next
I'm focused. I started an ethical clothing company because for me, like for vegans, non-vegans, everyone wants to start buying ethical clothing. Everyone knows Nike's a bit, a bit... So, and they don't have a chance to go, oh, we're going to do an ethical line now. They've already missed that. So I'm focused on the ethical clothing. We got... it's called Ethics and Antics, and we just released Ethics and Athletics, which is an ethical sports line.
Okay.
All made fair wear, organic cottons, things like that. And I'm just focused on that right now because
Nice.
that's the next step beyond when people start looking at what's on their plate and things like that. People, vegan, non-vegan, want to start to think about, be conscious of the choices they make, of the clothing they're wearing. Yeah.
You know what? It's good you said that, because this is what I was going to touch on, because the conversation when someone tries to convert me, because I say, look, I'm going to eat what I eat. I respect your decision. But when you get people and they go on, I let them talk. I say, take your phone out your pocket. Yeah? How much damage is that doing? Yeah? It's the same thing. It's the same as what you're saying with regards to the meat, because us using this on a regular basis and all the channels that we use, the TVs, the videos, all the channels that we use to communicate these things.
There's different things though, because agriculture is supposed to be one of the biggest.
No, but it's causing people to die. People in Africa and different countries in India are dying to make it mobile phone for the resources. The reason why the companies are doing it is because we buy these so much. We depend on these so much. The chip in our hand. We've already got it. Don't think, I'm not going to let them put the chip in the hand. When you hold this, you've already got the chip in your hand. Do you know what I mean? It depends on how your brain works. So I think, and this is why I say things happen in different stages. And I think it's great for the things that you guys are doing. But I think you always need people to oppose you. You always need people to oppose you. Don't
sharpens my sword.
It sharpens, because it makes you. Do I really believe in this? Am I really? And it's pushed you.
It makes you question more.
No,
It's pushed you to where you are now,
to do
innit?
this. And I think it's good, because I actually believe in what you guys doing, and I understand what it is. Maybe my mind's not ready to go there just yet, and I would never say never. But I know where I am now, and I would always honestly tell people,
it's your journey, bro.
Yeah, this is where I am now, and I respect what you're doing, and this is why I like to. I don't just thing the vegans. Mike was the one that got me into it. To be fair, we went out for his birthday, and I'm not gonna go
Tim
to
that
his
showed
birthday.
me the way. So
Where did you go?
like, to be fair, I think it was you that
Loving
told me. It was you that told me about Happy Cow.
Oh yeah,
And ain't gonna lie, I swear to you, every conversation I've had now about food, I'm like, hey, have you tried Happy Cow? Yeah, just download the app.
Amazing.
Where's this for? All
Yeah.
vegans?
Find any vegan spot anywhere in the world.
Okay, I'm gonna
Happy
do it.
Cow.
I've got more thing on my phone now. I'm actually gonna give you, if you're ever down in Northwest 10, a friend of mine, he's opened a vegan kitchen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's check this out.
I've been down there. Sorry, bro. Can you
You
get that?
ain't got my arms.
Yeah, I've been down there. The food is banging. Yeah, it's got some mixed,
breakfast.
Caribbean food, hard food.
Caribbean, that's
they
what
do.
we need.
They do.
We're waiting for the vegan curried goat. Who's gonna do that?
Well, do you know what? Maybe speak to him, because
Yeah,
obviously
this could be
you
the
might know.
hard food.
You might know
Mad up.
someone who
Mad
kind of
up.
does those
Check
things.
that, bro.
Yeah, but that is, when I say it is boom. I went down to have a meeting with someone, and
Is he open now? What time is it?
I think he closed it. Naf, are you open? If you are open, Naf, message me. I don't know if he's not always on social media. But Amelia's Vegan Kitchen, I think it says open till 11. We can maybe call them before we go.
Might
But
just
it's
be.
it is good, and it will be good because of your following.
Oh yeah, we'll share that. We'll
on
share,
there.
post that on our Instagram.
But for you to go down there and maybe give him some ideas to help him to expand, because I'm sure he's
Sugarcane
outreaching-
juice.
Well, he's
have that for free.
Well, look at this. He's trying to expand to
have
the
it.
local community of people. He's someone like you. Some people probably look at him. That's not you. You weren't like this 10 years ago. What you talking about? You're talking crap, bruv. When I saw him open it, I said I have to go down there to try it. It's something different, and I like to do different things. But that's why I brought that along with me. 'Cause I thought to myself, if I'm going to give it to anybody, I'm going to give it to somebody who is going to help. It's going to help each other. Because like you're saying, Caribbean food. He might show you about making your food in a different way and buying different products.
And vice versa, yeah.
And vice versa. So yeah, that's like I said, I really like the way you think. You're not a straight liner. You're
I challenge everything.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's good. It makes me think.
So yeah, so you got that now. I just wanted to wrap up now from Flat Earth. Let's wrap up. So just quickly again, go over all the social media. Firstly, Tim, again, just quickly shout out to
At
anybody
Human
that-
Timothy, at Ethics and Antics on Instagram. That's amazing.
and just support the new clothing as
Yeah,
well.
ethicsandantics.com, and we got the sports gear. We
It's
got
all on there as well.
athlete for the ethical athletes. We got running gear which says athlete on it, man. That's
Wicked.
That's the way we roll. Clean, simple. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Is that one of the tops as well? That vegan
That's
thing.
black on black vegan top. Yeah,
Yeah, that's heavy.
Like it.
Yeah.
And
Shout out Marios. Just want to give him a
Marios.
shout. Yeah, he brought us together.
yeah,
so.
to be fair, he did. Mario seems to just know everybody. I'd never understand. I just don't get where he has time to meet her, because I see him in the gym every day, but yet he knows. He knows everybody.
You say that now, and I'm like, it's true.
He just knows absolutely everybody. It's ridiculous. But yeah, shout out to Marius. for bringing us together. I know Marv's working on a project as well, doing a graffiti hard graph 39 on Instagram, but he's doing a new project, not a documentary.
Yeah, it's like
a sort of docu-film coming probably later on, but you got a little bit of a promo out at the moment. So if you just check that out on Instagram, hardgraph 39.
It's on Facebook at the moment. We're having problems with the time on Instagram. So it shows up fully on Facebook. It's going to go out on Instagram, and it's called Wig, yeah?
Why I'm
graphing, and it's going to ask graphers who are willing to come and talk, why are they graphing? Because I think it adds a bit, but I think that's probably another conversation. And if people want to find out, hit me up on hardgraph 39 or hit me up on Facebook, Marvelous Colossus, Colossus 39.
Cool. And again, obviously myself, the one and only MVP, you know, my stuff, Instagram,
you can't you don't like bigging yourself up, do you, man?
Hey,
hands
man.
down right
I
here.
just like hitting people, man.
No, man.
Like hitting people.
You're a G, Michael. You don't need an outro, man. You don't need an outro. End it.
About me after. Just drop that mic right now. But thank you for coming, man. Much appreciated. Tim Sheaf, man.
It's all love, man. Stay open, people.
Peace out, bro. Deuces.